Welcome to the HR Happy Hour Work Break. You're here with Trish and Steve. Hey, Steve Bose.
Hey, Trish, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. It's Thursday, grinding towards the end of the week. I'm on
It is.
vacation next week, which I'm excited about. So, yeah, just trying to get through it. Busy, but good.
Yeah. I'm weepy today.
Okay. Pollen in
Are you
the
going to
air?
ask me
Was it
why?
grass? I don't know.
My seniors started high school today.
Oh,
Last first day. Last first day. Today is the day. See, do men do this? Do men get that sad about stuff like that? Probably not.
not all of us. I'll say it that way. I can't speak for other men.
No, I was just like, I went outside. I've taken their picture, first day of school, like forever, and not a big deal. I'm always really excited and happy. And today I go out there to take it, and they're like, "You're not gonna cry, are you?" And I'm like, "No." And so, of course, as soon as I did, I'm crying now. I'm like just thinking about them.
All right.
Oh
Well,
my
okay.
goodness. Woo. Anyway, no, it's a good day. You know what? I'll tell you why I'm happy today, and then I know you've got a ton of stuff to get into. I'm happy today because I have a new partnership with DoorDash,
Nice.
and we are going to be tackling a ton of different topics in the coming months. But today I had my first article with them go live, and it is called "Engage Employees with Gratitude as They Return to Work."
Okay. I like
So
that.
we're obviously talking about a lot of companies are bringing people back. There's still people doing hybrid. There are people still remote. So anyway, there are a ton of articles, right, about gratitude in the workplace, and it's kind of the same old stuff. I really dug deep. I got creative, so I promise people they will get at least one or two or even three or four new ideas of what you can do to show gratitude to your employees at work. So please check it
Nice.
out. I've tweeted it. It's on LinkedIn. You can check it on the DoorDash blog. Yeah. Gratitude at work.
Cool.
So how are
That's very
you?
cool. That's exciting. I'm good, Trish, and I've been teasing this subject for 2 days before here this week on our show. Trish, I want to talk today about vaccination requirements from organizations and employers. Trish,
Okay.
the list of major employers, and this is a really US centric kind of conversation, I'll admit this, but the list of major employers who are now requiring employees to get vaccinated, and in some cases, if they don't get vaccinated or show proof of vaccination, is a better way to express this, to submit themselves to weekly COVID testing. Just some of the companies, Trish, and the list keeps getting longer and longer. United Airlines, Google, MGM Resorts, Facebook, Tyson Foods, Microsoft, Adobe, The Washington Post, Morgan Stanley, the New York Stock
Yeah.
Exchange, Frontier Airlines, Capital One, NBC Universal. Trish, it goes on and on and on. Then I thought, well, I want to check what's happening at colleges and universities because I had read that there's a lot of colleges and universities requiring vaccinations for both students and faculty and staff. I found an article on universitybusiness.com today, which had the list of colleges by state. Trish, there's literally hundreds. There's so many, I can't even
Really?
name them. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, including some of the really big major kind of state universities like Indiana, Illinois, University of North Carolina, and then a lot of the private schools as well that you'd expect, the Princetons, the Boston universities of the world. But there's so many, it's literally hundreds, Trish. So here's my question. And then one other little element in this vaccination in the workplace thing is some companies are kind of playing or middling it a little bit. So
Okay.
Delta Airlines is one, my favorite airline, and I think the best run airline,
Yeah.
has only indicated vaccinations for new hires only right now, just new hires. And they've had that policy in place for a little while. And McDonald's, Trish, is only requiring it for corporate staff at the moment, right? Just their people in their corporate offices are going to be required to show proof of vaccination. So here's the thing, Trish. This is a train running downhill fast. I think employers, more and more employers every day are requiring vaccinations. I think it's the right thing to do, probably. Like if it were my call, right? As if I were a CEO of a big company, even or a CEO of a small company, I think I would do it. What do you say about this? Like, you think it's the right move, the wrong move?
You know what?
Because
It's
we
so
definitely have a problem in this country with not enough people vaccinated still.
Yeah, it's really complex because I think just the way that the country was founded, it's sort of like we do like our individual freedom, right? And so I think that's where a lot of people kind of fall back on. I don't want anyone, especially the government, telling me what to do, taking away my rights, right? And I mean, no criticism. It is what it is, right? That's what some people think. But I do think this isn't saying like you have to get I don't know, the chicken pox shot or something, right? This is something that's at a level. I think when something is at a pandemic level, then you have to look out for the well-being of all at that point. Like I don't think that requiring a vaccination now is maybe like it was even a year ago when it was
Mhm.
very unknown, right? It was
Yeah,
shorter term at that point. There was no vaccination. Anything that came out was brand new with no sort of results or proof that it worked. And so I don't know, to me over time it becomes um I guess just okay to require that. Again, these are private companies for the most part. They can do whatever they want. It's sort of like they can make you come back to work. And if you don't like it, don't work there. If you are working somewhere
sure.
and they require a vaccination, if you feel, because you can feel that strongly that you don't want it, then don't get it, I guess, and don't work there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like though the people who are like, no, I should still keep my job and not be vaccinated if my company is requiring it. I don't agree with that. The last thing I'll say, because I know I'm sure you got tons more, is just that what bothers me about sort of what you just reported, I'm not bothered by the ones that say, look, we are all going to be vaccinated or show proof
Sure.
of vaccination for all of our safety and for the safety of our customers. It's the ones where it's like, well, just this group of people are going to be vaccinated and
Yeah.
nobody else. Because to me, how random? How random is that? Like, so McDonald's corporate people are more valuable than McDonald's
Yeah,
workers?
I mean, McDonald's is a
Or
different example, maybe because the vast
no,
majority
really?
of McDonald's employees work for franchises. They don't work for McDonald's themselves, right? So
But
the
what about
average,
the ones that don't?
yeah, the average McDonald's you go to though to get your, Egg McMuffin is probably owned by some franchisee, right, and not
I
owned by
understand.
McDonald's
I
itself.
understand. I
Yeah,
understand. I'm just saying, but like anybody, right? If you are setting aside a certain group of people that are getting vaccinated and then another group that's not, that's where I start having problems with it. I'm like, it's either all one way or all another.
yeah, I'd agree with that. I think it's going to be the norm. It's so interesting. We've talked about wages a lot on this show, right, and other places as well, minimum wages specifically, right? And I've talked a lot, and others as well. It's not some insight I only have about how the
You do in
corporate or
most cases.
the private sector is effectively raising the minimum wage when the
Sure.
government either won't or is unwilling to, right? At a federal level, I'm really specifically speaking about all these large employers, these large national employers raising their own effective minimum wages is just raising wages across the board for everyone for the most part. And so you don't really need the government to step in at this point. Like what would be, you could almost make an argument, what would be the point of the federal government raising the federal minimum wage $1 or $2 or $3 even, like from 7.25 or 7.65, whatever it is, to $10, right? When
Yeah.
hundreds of large employers are already paying 15 and more. I think the same thing's happening with vaccinations, right? We know that state, local, and federal governments are never going to require vaccinations in the general public. Although, quite honestly, you mentioned your kids going to school today, right? Every kid who attends public school in the United States is required to get a battery of vaccinations, from starting at a very young age up until through their school age, or in order to attend public school in America. And no one ever seems to have a problem about that. But the government's not going to step in right now and mandate COVID vaccinations for anybody, although they're going to do it for federal employees, but for the general public, they won't.
Right.
But just like with minimum wages, all these private sector employers, each one that keeps adding to this list of requiring vaccinations is going to effectively create their own kind of mandate, because there's definitely going to be a situation where if you choose not to be vaccinated at this point, if you choose it, then your options for employment are now going to be limited in some cases. And that's just how it is. It is a choice you're making. And then these companies are making choices around how they want to keep their other employees and their customers safe. And so it's fascinating stuff. But just the number of big companies that pile onto this list almost every day, it's kind of remarkable. I didn't think I'd ever kind of see that. I didn't see that coming, to be totally honest
Yeah.
with you.
Well, and again, though, I mean, we're not seeing the second surge of the Delta variant. It's across every state now. Every state has increased numbers. It's just so I think again, you said something the other day. You didn't plan on us being sort of in this situation, 18 to 20 months in, and yet here
Yeah.
we are. So I do think yes, you're going to see more and more people taking charge of things. I heard actually on the news this morning that how Florida doesn't have a mask mandate in that state, but the schools are doing it on their own. So again, I
Yeah.
think you
They're a
can
little,
have guidance for certain things, but people are going to do what they think is best for them, for their family, for their school.
Yeah,
Other
that's another fight that's going to be had down there. Trish, on a lighter note, before we close it out for the week, a couple lighter items. Is that okay? Can I throw them out there? Trish, hot dog prices, hot dogs, one of my favorite foods, have spiked up 5% in July.
Really?
Trish, how many hot dogs do you think Americans, all of us together, consume over the 4th of July holiday weekend? What would you take a guess? How many hot dogs?
2.4 million hot dogs.
You're a little low, Trish. It's estimated 150 million hot dogs consumed by Americans over the July 4th weekend. There's about 330 Americans total, 330 million. So almost 1 in 2 have a hot dog. And then my last item, Trish.
Yes.
Do you play tennis at all?
Oh, not in a long time.
Well, that's good, Trish, because you know what you can't get right now easily in the United States? Tennis balls.
What?
There's a shortage of tennis balls. They're out of stock everywhere, apparently. There's only 2 large makers of tennis balls that supply the U.S. market. There's some smaller ones, but there's only 2 major ones. Neither of them manufacture tennis balls here in America. One of them manufactures in China, and the other one manufactures, I think, in Thailand. And between shipments and shipping containers and blah, 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 you can't get a tennis ball right now. So if you want to go play some tennis, hopefully you have a can of balls in the garage somewhere, because it's tough to get tennis balls right now. So how about that? Those are my 2 nuggets.
Wow. Okay. Well, or take up a new sport, right? Right. Well, if you are a tennis player and you've got all of a sudden you have no balls left, what are you going to go play, Steve?
What's your
next sport?
Field hockey. Can you play that by yourself?
I don't think so. But you don't play tennis by yourself. Why would you have to limit it? All right, Steve, your would you rather today is, would you rather play tennis or field hockey?
I think tennis, probably.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay. I think field hockey. I'd like to beat up on some people. I'd like to have some physical contact with people.
The field hockey stick is too short. The players in field hockey run around that field all hunched over because the sticks are just too short. I don't understand that sport at all. Why don't you just make the stick a normal size, like a hockey stick?
Because then it's hockey.
Yeah, you'd still be out there on the grass. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know. That's it. Hey, save that for your Field Hockey Today podcast, would you?
All right. I'm on vacation next week. I did buy a book to read. This is the book I'm planning on reading. It's called Pappy Land. It's about the story. It's about the story of Pappy Van Winkle bourbon, which is like that highly sought after collectible, allegedly the best bourbon in America. It's got a real long backstory and a history of the family of the Van Winkles. That's actually their real name. And I heard about it on a podcast and was recommended. So there you go. Well, listen, I'll report back in 2 weeks.
Have a fantastic week off. Truly take a break. And everyone else, have a great weekend. Catch up with me next week because I have 3 very special guest hosts who have never been on with me before. So yeah, it'll be fun. We'll have a good week without Steve. Not really. Have a great week, Steve. All right, everyone. We'll catch you back here on Monday.